I'm a lawyer. People like to say that makes me a cynical bastard. And fair enough. The job trains you to expect the worst and prove it in court. For a while, Clara was the exception. Coming home to her after days of depositions and fraud felt like stepping out of a sewer into sun. She worked as a paralegal, studied nights for the LSAT, and dreamed big. I backed those dreams with cash and time, tuition fund, a reliable car, space to study, and a future plan together in an old Victorian we were restoring room by room. Only one thing spoiled it: Julian. Best friend from college, self-proclaimed. Artist, lifelong crisis. He floated in and out of our life with road trip stories and soft digs about how Clara used to be spontaneous before she settled for me. He borrowed money, mocked stability, and treated my house as a stage for his martyrdom. Clara called him family. I called him a case study and waited. In court, the patient witness always hangs himself. 6 months into the biggest case of my career, I won. Henderson Industries. A monster. We planned a dinner to celebrate. Friends from the firm filled the dining room. The house glowed. Clara, in blue, was proud. Julian arrived late, thrift store blazer over a band t-shirt, and drank my wine like he owned the place. The conversation turned to work, purpose, winning. He cleared his throat, the room quieted, and he launched. "All this talk about success?" he said, sweeping his glass at us. "It's just money and status. Where's the meaning?" Then his eyes found mine. "Luke's reliable, sure, but let's be honest. Clara could do way better than him." Silence hit like a slammed door. Set down my fork. "That's a bold claim, Julian. Walk me through your reasoning." He tried the usual, Clara's artistic soul, how he knew who she really is. I treated it like cross-examination. "Here's my evidence," I said, evenly ticking points on my fingers. "I'm paying Clara's tuition, 60 grand a year. I bought her car outright when hers died. I've covered the mortgage and utilities while she studies. I created a scholarship to fund her summer program. Meanwhile, you've borrowed $1,400 from her in the last year. How much of that have you paid back?" He swallowed. Everyone knew. The answer. "So your proposal is that she trades stability, a partner invested in her future, and a home we built, for a man who can't repay a loan and calls planning selling out. Am I missing anything?" He had nothing. He stared at his plate like it might testify for him. I expected Clara to be relieved. Instead, she stood, furious. "How dare you humiliate him like that?" "Humiliate him?" I asked. "He walked into our home and announced, 'You could do better.' You weaponized our private finances," she said, voice shaking. "Apologize, Luke. Now, or we're over." The room went very still. I looked at the woman I'd supported and loved and realized a truth I'd been avoiding. When Julian and I were in conflict, she always chose him. This time she said it out loud. I smiled. Small, final. I didn't say a word. I stood and left the table. Clara gathered her things and walked out. My friends cleaned up, saw Julian to the door without ceremony, and left me in a quiet house that suddenly felt like an exhibit. Beautiful, pointless. I spent the weekend boxing Clara's things carefully: clothes, books, the vintage teacups, even the college keepsakes she'd forgotten in the basement. Then I changed the locks and the codes. After that, 2 calls. One to the law school to withdraw my funding, another to my managing partner to rescind the internship I'd arranged for her. No drama, just consequences. When a partnership ends, so do its benefits. 2 weeks of silence passed. Clara's calls and long texts rolled in. I answered none. One afternoon, her car pulled into the driveway. She tried her old key, paused, then knocked, tentative like a stranger. I opened the door a few inches. "We need to talk," she said, smaller than I'd ever seen her. "Do we?" I asked. "I thought you were clear at dinner." I was upset. I said things I didn't mean. Julian was out of line. "I should have defended you." You should have, I said, but you didn't. Tears gathered. We can fix this. What we have is too important to throw away over one stupid fight. It wasn't a fight, I said. It was a revelation. I told her about the funding and the internship. Color drained from her face. You can't. I can. You ended the partnership. I'm honoring your terms. Apologize or we're over. I chose over. Desperation finally pushed past pride. I'll cut him out. I'll never see Julian again. Please don't take my future. You should have made that choice the first time he disrespected us, I said. Not after the bill came due. Luke, I'm sorry. I was wrong. No, I said gently. But I'm done. I closed the door. 6 months later, Sarah from Family Law filled me in over coffee without being asked. Clara dropped out. No tuition, no scholarship. She works processing insurance claims. She and Julian rent a studio over a restaurant with broken AC and roaches. They're together, technically. Miserable, certainly. He complains she's lost. Her spark. He wanted the muse, but he got the fallout. I didn't gloat. I'd already moved on. New house, partnership on track, and someone who understands that support isn't control and plans aren't cages. Jennifer builds her future while I build mine. We build together. No Julian attached. People think done means angry for now. It doesn't. It means the support ends, the investment is withdrawn, the door closes, some choices lock behind you. Clara wanted to learn what done really means. Now she knows.